Well, hello everybody again. I don't mean to dwell a lot on Baumharts. It's just the way things worked out. I happen to have this picture of Charlie Baumhart in the old drugstore on Main Street. Charlie was probably managing the store at the time this photograph was taken. The interesting part about this, and one of the reasons I wanted to use this photo, was what's behind him here, all of this right here. Many people looking at this right now who are familiar with the store and with Vermilion know that this was probably one of their favorite counters. This was the candy counter at Baumhart's drugstore. This round circle here is a light reflection from an overhead light. It's not a real good picture, it's an old snapshot, but it's interesting. Charlie was one of my favorite Vermilion people. I have several. Funny enough, they were both named Charlie, my two favorite people. Charlie Trinner and Charlie Baumhart. I didn't know Charlie Trinner, but I knew Charlie Baumhart. Charlie was born in 1916. His mother, Effie, her name was Effie Washburn. And his dad, of course, was A.D. Sr., A.D. Baumhart Sr., which you heard about last week. Charlie was probably one of the smartest people I ever have known in Vermilion, next to people like Reverend Bertoni, Louis Bertoni. Charlie was really smart. He was also very humorous, and I loved his voice. He had this deep baritone voice. He used to every day. Toward the end of his life, he was working at the post office. So every day after work at the post office, he'd come up to the Lemon Tree Lounge. And I was a kid then, and I'd be there with my buddies, like Frank Hamas was the bartender manager. And Charlie would come in with a newspaper, always had a newspaper because he did crosswords all the time, smoking a cigar, slam the paper down on the counter and say, "Women, they ought to take them all out in the street and shoot them." And everybody get a laugh out of that. Charlie always had a problem with women, wives. To my knowledge, he was only married twice, but he may have been married 3 times for all I know. But gee, I really liked Charlie a lot. He was so smart, so fun. And I'm sorry, the end of his life wasn't good. He was sick, and he died upstairs over the store alone. And that's just unforgivable in my mind. Charlie should have never been alone. Maybe nobody should, but sometimes that's what fate hands you. Charlie was the last mayor of the Vermilion Village. People called him Chubby Charlie. A lot of people looked at him as though he was a drunk. And perhaps he did drink a little bit too much, but so did a lot of other people in town. It didn't make him out to be a bad person. That's just the way life was, and is still today. But this is Charlie. As I keep on saying, I like Charlie a lot.